In the realm of longevity science, discussions often center on genetics, diet, or exercise, but a quieter, equally powerful force is at work in the brains of long-lived individuals: neuroplasticity. Once believed to be the domain of youth, the brain's ability to rewire itself, form new connections, strengthen old ones, and compensate for damage has now been shown to persist well into old age. And one of the most effective ways to keep this process alive in later decades isn't pharmacological or surgical. It's creative. Whether through playing music, painting, writing, dancing, or even tackling a complex puzzle, engaging in creative activity appears to be one of the most profound ways the elderly can protect their cognitive function and emotional health. In centenarian communities from Salento to Okinawa, these forms of lifelong mental stimulation are more than hobbies. They are powerful biological tools for aging gracefully. At the heart of this effect is how creative activities engage multiple brain regions simultaneously, forcing the brain to integrate motor skills, memory, attention, language, and emotion in real time. Playing an instrument, for example, lights up both hemispheres of the brain, requiring coordination between auditory processing, motor control, and pattern recognition. Painting activates visual and spatial reasoning while simultaneously drawing on emotional memory and symbolic thinking. Even simpler forms of play, like word puzzles, crosswords, or strategy games, stimulate the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, helping maintain working memory and executive function. These are precisely the areas most vulnerable to age-related decline, and yet they remain strikingly active in elders who continue to challenge their minds through creative engagement. Scientific studies are now confirming what many aging artists and lifelong learners have intuitively known: that the brain's structure and function are malleable even in the ninth and 10th decades of life. Research has shown that engaging in the arts can increase gray matter density, enhance synaptic connectivity, and boost levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein critical for neuron survival and plasticity. BDNF levels tend to decline with age, but they are elevated in people who regularly engage in cognitively stimulating and emotionally meaningful tasks. This is especially important in warding off neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, which progressively erode brain structure. By constantly inviting the brain to adapt and reorganize, creative pursuits act as a buffer, slowing or even reversing some of the biological hallmarks of cognitive aging. Importantly, these benefits extend beyond brain structure into emotional well-being and psychological resilience, factors deeply intertwined with longevity. Creative activity has been linked to lower levels of depression and anxiety in older adults, as well as a stronger sense of purpose and identity. Whether it's joining a community choir, journaling, or sculpting clay in a quiet studio, creative tasks foster emotional expression and social connection. These activities reduce stress, modulate cortisol, and elevate mood-regulating neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, all of which are essential for mental and physical health. In communities with high numbers of centenarians, it's not uncommon to find elders who still sing in local groups, embroider traditional patterns, recite poetry from memory, or teach grandchildren to play a musical instrument. These aren't merely acts of nostalgia. They're active, structured challenges to the brain that reinforce identity and self-worth. In places like Icaria or Sardinia, the elderly are often seen as cultural keepers, storytellers, and artisans, not people passively retreating from mental activity, but individuals continually engaging with the world and transmitting knowledge through creative expression. Another crucial aspect of creativity in the elderly is its social nature. Many creative activities, whether painting classes, theater productions, or collaborative music, are performed in group settings. This introduces an added layer of cognitive and emotional complexity, as individuals must interpret cues, share goals, and regulate emotion in real time. Social engagement itself is one of the strongest predictors of cognitive longevity, and when combined with artistic expression, it becomes a double shield against decline. Even those who begin engaging in creative activity later in life can experience cognitive gains. Research on older adults with no prior musical or artistic training shows that even a few weeks of structured creative engagement can improve memory scores, attention, and emotional well-being. This speaks to the inherent neuroplasticity still present in aging brains, a capacity that, when stimulated by meaningful challenges, can come roaring back to life. What's perhaps most inspiring is how creative activity democratizes cognitive resilience. Unlike advanced medical therapies, creativity is widely accessible, relatively low cost, and infinitely customizable. Whether someone is composing symphonies or simply keeping a daily sketch journal, the act of creation, of bringing something into existence through the imagination, nourishes the brain in unique and profound ways. As longevity science continues to uncover the molecular and systemic pillars of long life, creativity stands out as a gentle, joyful force that unites body, brain, and spirit. It is not merely a pastime for the elderly, it is a therapeutic, biologically beneficial act of renewal. And for those seeking to age not just longer, but better, it may be one of the most powerful, enjoyable tools we have.